Among the new creations of the 2010 Constitution was the county government. It is said that we have two levels of government. We have the national government and we have the county government. I'm saying, and I will say, that even though everybody praises the 2010 Constitution, but to me I find it that there is a lot to do about it. I've always felt on two grounds where our 2010 Constitution went wrong. The first one was that it was dominated by human rights activists. And these human rights activists created a human rights activist constitution. Second, it went about, you see, we had a constitution which came from Lancaster House in London. Upon Mzee Jomo Kenyatta being sworn in, every other constitutional change was vesting powers in the then Prime Minister and later the President. So every time we had a constitutional change, the effect was adding more and more powers to the office of the President, to Harambee House. And what did the 2010 constitutions do? The second part, because I said the human rights wrote, and they wrote a human rights constitution. But when it comes to the second part, is we concentrated a lot on removing powers from the Harambee House. That is the second aspect. But today's topic is about county government. County government, when it came to levels of government, worldwide, there is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not aware of the fifth level, but the countries with the most levels of government is 4. And the one with the least is 1. I would expect a country like Eswatini to have 1 level of government. Now, which are these levels? Level 1 is the national government. National government. In some countries, they call it federal government. Level 2 is the state, region, or provincial government. In America, we have states such as California, Texas, and so on. In South Africa, we have provincial governments such as, they have provincial governments, and the head of the provincial government is a provincial premier. In the US, the head of a state government is a governor. Number 3, because I said level number 1 is the national, second is regional, provincial, or state. Number 3 is either a district government or a county government. That is number 3. Number 4 is the municipalities or councils. These are the city councils, the municipal councils, town councils, urban councils, and so on. So in Kenya, a lot of us wanted to have a national government, provincial government, and the county government. But we realized that the country cannot afford that large workforce. So it was decided that we have 2 levels of government. That is the county government and the national government. And we used to have a minister called Minister for Local Government. He was a dictator. Imagine Nathan Kahara, one of the best mayors Kenya has ever produced. A minister just woke up one day and declared Nairobi to be, instead of a city council, it was a Nairobi City Commission. Headed by, the commission included people like Paul Ruto Chepkok. And if you know Paul Ruto Chepkok, first of all, he was illiterate, he was a thug, he was everything. So, the drafters of the 2010 Constitution knew that with a minister for local government, he could, without explaining, there is no time. Or the Constitution then did not allow him to explain, maybe take it to Parliament for approval or anything. Even the explanations that he used to give, they were frivolous. But then again, it didn't matter. It was just a privilege that he would tell us why he was bringing in a commission. So, and that is a big problem that we had with the 2010 Constitution. We had a lot of looking back and saying, here things were not, so we do this because of that. We did not just sit down and forget the past constitution and other countries' constitution and bring experts, and then, because the constitutions we are using, you see, we say the American constitution, the proportional constitution, the mixed democracy. If you go to my earlier videos, I've covered a lot of different constitutions, how they work. We should not even have gone down and looked at all those, the French mixed democracy constitution, the communist constitution, the socialist constitution, the monarchy, the whatever constitution. We should not even have looked at that. We want to copy Njuguna's and Ojwang's constitution. But when Njuguna made his own constitution, he didn't look for other people. Ojwang made his own constitution, he didn't have to look at other people. Why should we make constitution that we borrow from the French, we borrow from the Westminster? We should have come up with our own. Now we collapsed the 4 levels into 2. And then when we collapsed into 2, instead of calling the head of a county government, calling him or her a sheriff, because head of a county government is a sheriff, we decided to call him or her a governor, who is the head of a state government or a regional government or a provincial government. Now, you are a sheriff and you are calling yourself a governor. That is a mistake. And then the reason why we said that we are going to have a 2-level government, independent and interdependent. There is a difference between independent and interdependent. Of course, independent And interdependent meant that the national government cannot function without relying on the county governments. And county governments cannot work without relying on the national government. It's just like Siamese twins. They depend on each other, interdependent. Now, we came to councillors. I'm sure even those of my age in the mid 60s do not know about the background of councillors. We renamed our councillors, we renamed them MCA, which is okay because that is a member of the county assembly. Previously, we used to have so many councillors. Take a district like Nakuru. We had Nakuru Municipal Council, we had Molo Municipal Council, we had Naivasha Municipal Council, we had Olengurueni Urban Council, we had I don't know what town council, and then we had the overall Nakuru County Council. We had so many councillors. So you'll find that when the MCA came in, there were fewer and they were answerable to one source. We used to have councillors reporting to the town council. We had as councillors reporting to, like Malava in Kabras, we had 6 wards between 1993 to 2010, between 1993 and in 1997. We had some 6 wards which had 2 councillors each. There was a councillor who would report to Malava Urban Council, and the same ward there was a councillor who was reporting to Kakamega County Council. When Chesoni was asked about that, he said that the Minister for Local Government created Malava Urban Council, but he did not abolish those. He had no powers to abolish those wards. So when the new elections are going to be held in 1997, so you can find that we had a lot of councillors left and right. And initially, take note, the councillors were not supposed to be paid salary. They were not to be paid salary. And that is why even today, we still have problems with MCS. You find that during the BBI, when Uhuru wanted MCS to support BBI, he came up with this car loan, car grant, and it was confusing and it went left and right and such a thing. It is because the MCS are supposed to mirror the MNS. They are supposed to mirror the MNS, but you see, up to today, not all functions that an MNA has been transferred to an MCA, because the MCA is still evolving from councillor to an MNA type of mheshimiwa. That is the problem we had, and that is the problem we are continuing. The councillors used to be paid sitting allowance. There are even instances where, like I was in Bagathi Road Primary School, and our head teacher, Moses Moreithi, contested, I think it was in the Kahawa area, to be a councillor. And since he wanted to be a councillor, there was a lot of tension between him and the councillor for golf course, who was the mayor, Nathan Kahara. Nathan Kahara wanted to have another councillor in Kahawa Wendani area because those councillors are the ones who used to elect mayors. So we have a situation where in places like Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu, the people who are supposed to be mayors nowadays call themselves Nowadays, they call themselves governors. They have even appointed people who are called city managers. City managers are supposed to be doing the work of the mayor. But apart from Kisumu, where I usually hear of city mayor, city manager, Nairobi, we are told Sakaja wants to create a number of boroughs and make the person who was supposed to be city manager, there'll be several and they'll be heading boroughs. So that is where we had a problem. If you ask me, I would just say that the county government should be continue being called county governments, and the governors should be renamed to be sheriffs. Now we go to another creation of the county government. We have somebody called a senator. Senator. Actually, our Senate is the wrong one. Our Senate is wrong because we have so many senators who get free salary, who are nominated. We are only supposed to have nominated senators representing, let's say, people living with a disability. We should have not just one or two. We have different types of disabilities. We have people with a sight disability. We have people with mobility disability and hearing. So we could have maybe six nominated because one of either gender. And then we should have every county having two senators. There was a thing that people were saying that when it comes to voting, we now vote as per county. We now vote as per county, but we should have, each county should have two senators, and the senators should not vote as county. They should vote as themselves. Whenever MNS vote, they don't say that my constituency has done this, whatever, or whatever. They should just say, and in case there is a tie, because we have two per county, in case of a tie, then the Speaker of the Senate should vote, have a single vote that is called a tiebreaker. We created at the county level a new position called women rep. The women rep has created some very good leaders. Being a woman rep for even one term has made certain ladies be noticed and be elected into higher positions. But did we put a stop over when it will elapse? Or will the position of women rep continue being there forever? Supposing, and it is quite possible, I saw a drunk in the streets of Nairobi who was talking of Kikuyus not giving birth to kids and Somali marrying 4 women and Somalis having countless kids, and very soon the population of Somalis will overtake the Kikuyus. And he was a drunk, but sometimes I don't take alcohol, but I like staying in bars because drunks usually give good advice, but in the morning you find that he has forgotten. So if you are a sober person and you're staying in a nightclub, you can get a lot of good business ideas. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because we have a women rep in every county. Now, supposing one time we have more elected women than men, and then you add their women rep. I think this position was meant to give them an exposure, and then it gets out. Do we really have a cap on the number of times a woman can be elected a women rep? And then there is also this challenge of a women reps. You see, an MP covers a constituency, but a woman rep covers a whole county. Take counties such as Marsabit and Turkana. This lady has to travel all the way from north to the south, east to the west. Now see how big that is. I think it is a time that women rep transfers itself into the second Senate. Nakuru, unfortunately, you have a woman senator and other places, and Eldoret, Wasingishu. But in such a case, we should have a woman senator and a man senator, so that at the constituency level, at the National Assembly, we do not have women representing a whole county. National Assembly is meant to represent constituencies. And that is my contribution about county governments.